Yo, yo, check, check. Let me see, am I good? Let me know if y'all can hear. Hey, brother. Check, check. All right. Y'all let me know if the music is good, and let me know if y'all can hear me, and let me know if the music let me know if the music is too loud or what. So y'all let me know. Um Let me see what y'all saying. No, I'm here. LOL, I'm here to hear it. Yo, Carol, can you hear me pretty well? Can you hear me pretty well? Let me know, cause I want to make sure my audio is good before I move on. What's popping? What's popping to everybody on Instagram? Because this is live. This is also um, it should be streaming simultaneously on Instagram and YouTube. So the way I got the way I got this set up is so crazy. You know, um, for those who follow me on Instagram, which is BandClap TV. Everybody should be following me on Instagram as well as Facebook and Snapchat to get my updates and stuff like that, because I'm seeing that a lot of people don't get my notification that I went live. So um hold on. So if you checked out my Instagram story, you see the way my setup is now. You know, um, I found a way to have a fully working Windows on my phone. You know, so I got that going. Plus, I got it to where I can mirror the Windows on my phone. I can mirror it to my MacBook screen. So I had that going. Um, And yeah, see, Carol, that's the thing, because you'll never know when I go live, because a lot of times people don't get my notifications and stuff. Um, so today, I've been trying to do this alignment stream ever since like 5 hours ago. Ever since like 5:30, and it's just like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, that's going on. Um, first I tried to stream through Streamlabs. I tried to do that. That didn't work. Then I tried to use the regular YouTube, and then the audio. Y'all couldn't hear me. Y'all said y'all couldn't hear me. So the I'm on the road right now. I don't have no hotel or nothing like that. I'm straight on the road. So I was trying to do this at this Starbucks before they closed. What's up, Firewater? I was trying to do this at the Starbucks before they closed. Um, Down here in Miami, the Starbucks close up at 8:30. So I'm trying. I was trying to. I've been trying to do this live stream since 5:30. So I tried Streamlabs on my phone. That didn't work. People said they couldn't hear me. Then I tried to use the regular YouTube live. My audio, for some reason, my audio didn't even work on there. Um, so I couldn't use my laptop, because it got to the point where um, my time was up. It got to the point where my time got up. Wait, let me see. So um, I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to do it on there. So this stream right here, the only reason why I'm even streaming right now on here is because um through a bunch of nigger rigging and trial and error, I was finally able to get everything set up on my phone. I got Windows on my phone. I got OBS. I put OBS on here. Um, I had to download everything that you see. So I had to download those photos. I had to download the DJ mix, all of that stuff to this, and you know, um, if I don't give y'all any type of motivation, if I don't give y'all any other type of motivation, if I don't give y'all anything else, with this, because the moon was in Capricorn today, um, I just want to let y'all know that at the end of the day, if you truly got your mind set on a plan, if you truly got your mind set on the goal, if you truly got your mind set on a plan, um, I'm here to tell you that anything is possible. Nothing is impossible to them that believe. You know. Let me check my audio. Let me check my audio. Okay, cool. My audio is good. So if I don't give y'all nothing else tonight, I want to give y'all the fact that all things are possible if you believe in yourself, and if you believe in your plan. um you know, if you believe in yourself, all things are possible, you know. um Even if it's a situation to where you may be the only one, you may be your last spectator, you know, meaning that everyone else has given up on you, everyone else has left and went home, you know, everyone else has pretty much chumped it up to, you know, he tried, he couldn't do it. I'm not finna sit here and keep watching him, uh you know, fail and fail and fail and fail. um because at the end of the day, all it takes is that one breakthrough. All it takes is that one breakthrough. um and now you're in a position where you prove everybody wrong, you know. And at the end of the day, when we're talking about this Orisha astrology, a few things have changed. A few things have changed within the alignments, you know, since 5:30 and now. You know, that's what happens when you can't get to things at a certain time. But I still kind of remembered what the alignments were. So I'm gonna do what I always do. In front of you, you see the alignments that's going on right now. And as I always do, um, I'm going to I'm a give y'all these alignments in the way of a Orisha Pataki story, you know, so that way, because one thing that I've been noticing with these live readings is that I see that you all can understand the astrology a lot better when I do it like that, you know, because it gives you a visual to envision in your mind while I'm telling you this story, you know. And at the end of the day, this story has everything to do with the alignments that you see in front of you. And then once I finish with that, if anybody would like a live reading, the price is $11. You know, you can send that to my Cash App. If you look at the pinned message that's in the live chat, it'll let you know everything that you need to do to qualify for a live reading. You got to make sure that you know your sun, moon, and ascendant. You know, and once I get your payment, then you'll be in the queue for when I start doing the live readings. You know, and this is something that that I feel like can be a teachable situation, for people that's trying to figure out a different way. Because I'm at the end of the day, I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I know a lot of people already know about astrology. There's a million and one different people that have their own way of breaking this down and stuff like that. But you know, I wanna throw my hat in the ring and take a gander at this, um, and do it my way. So my way is the Bebu Orisha way. You know, and I know y'all probably like, what is a Bebu? you know, and I'm so happy to say, because of the situation that I'm in, with this phone and with me being able to get into animation, um, y'all are going to, in the very very near future, y'all are going to start seeing some Bebu Orisha cartoon animations. Some things that um, not only will the adults be able to learn and stuff like that in a different way, learn about the Orishas in a different way, but um, I want to create some things that you can show your kids too. Some things that you can show your children, and they can learn about the Orisha too. you know I want it to be a situation to where, just like how SpongeBob has the I'm ready. you know um you know y'all gonna be around here talking about y'all a baby. you know and that's my special thing. you know and Bebu has two different meanings. You have the Babu, which means a master teacher, and a very skilled businessman and stuff like that. A wise teacher. It is a derivative of Baba, which means father. And then you have the other spelling of Bebu, which is Bayboo, and that is a balanced. It is a balanced form of, when you have a girl, a girlfriend, and you really love her, you call her your bae. And then if you're a girl and you have a boyfriend and you really love him, you call him your boo. you know so I just put those two together, Bebu. you know and think about when you're really in love and you call someone your bae, or you're really in love and you got that childlike puppy love and you call someone your boo. you know that's the type of energy. um that's the type of energy that a Bebu has. Is both of those put together. you know yes. Before I got into music, before I got into rapping, before I got into music, um I wanted to be a cartoonist when I grew up. I used to make comics. I used to draw comics. My mom is a very good artist. And I used to have, different characters and different things that I would draw. But my mom and dad, when I was younger, kind of talked me out of it. How parents kill your dreams sometimes without them even knowing. So it was because of that dream being killed that I went into music. you know so yeah, now is the time. Now is the time for me to get back into it. I finally have a reason to. I want to be able to create a world and a universe to where my inner child can come out and play, and it won't seem corny. It won't seem, because I'm creating a universe for my inner child. And hopefully, with what I'm doing with hopefully with what I'm doing with my channel and how I'm doing, um, maybe this will inspire some more people out there, who would like to get into animation, or who would like to get into things like that. Not yet, not yet, Firewater, not yet. I'm just letting y'all know what's going on in the future. I'm not there yet. I literally just downloaded Unreal Engine 5. Um, the closest that I've done myself as far as animation is the BandClap TV intro. That intro with the Universal, uh, that was one of my first animation projects that I created with this program called Blender. So I went on Blender and I learned how to create that Universal intro that y'all see on all of my videos. And it was because of that, that kind of catapulted me into podcasting and stuff like that. You know, so not yet. Once I get some stuff together and I get the hang of it, I get into the swing of things. I may start offering stuff like that down the line, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, is not gonna be cheap. You know, because I went and did the research, because at first, I was just gonna go out and, because I got the idea, I got everything all written out, I got everything together, I got everything ready. Um, and at first, I was just about to go out and outsource, you know, and I ended up meeting a Obatala at the security at the club that I worked at in Orlando, and he had a very top of the notch, top of the line animation studio. And I told him my idea. I showed him some examples and stuff like that. And he told me, he was like, "Yo, um, for what you want, for what you want, for just a minute of animation, just a minute of it, with just with the full motion capture of the body, with the lip syncing of the voice, and the sound design, and the storyboards, and all of this other stuff that goes into 1 minute of animation." He was like, "Just cause you my homie, on the low end, 1500 to 2 grand, you know so that was a big that was a big wake up call. That was a big wake up call for me to get out here and learn how to do it myself, you know so that I can charge those prices. you know and when you think about people who are traveling, with their RVs and traveling and stuff like that, yeah, for 1 minute, of animation, it is extremely expensive, because you got to think about everything that goes into the animation. you know you got the storyboards, you got the environment design, you got the character design, you got to rig the character so it can walk around and do gestures. You might have to hire somebody to do motion capture to do that. And then if they're talking, you gotta be able to make the mouth move, and then you gotta have a voice actor to talk. And it's a lot. A lot of people underestimate um the thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that it takes to make these cartoons. You know, um, I can teach a webinar. Woo! Shoot, maybe on down the line. Maybe on down the line. But the what I love about the way things are now, there are so much free information out there. If you can really put your mind to it and you're really serious about it, there's so much free information out there already. When it comes down to that, you know, and that's what I'm depending on. There's like a 4-hour video course of how to use Unreal Engine 5. And I've been studying that. And I got a small environment that I created, a forest, because the baby issue is gonna be in the forest. I've already face captured myself, so the baby issue is gonna look just like me, you know. The baby issue, when y'all see him, it's gonna be a while before I showcase him. It's gonna be a while before I showcase him. But when I showcase him, I'm happy to say that the baby issue is gonna look just like me as a baby. Like it's gonna look like me as a little child, you know. Um, and that's gonna be the beauty of it, And what I wish to do, I wish to have my soul family as some of the other baby Orishas. So I want to have a soul family member as the baby Oshun, that can come in and I can motion capture their face and stuff like that. Have a baby Oya, a Yemoya, a Obanani, a Shango, a Ochosi, a Ogun, a Adawedo, like with the ideas that I have in my head, I'm telling y'all, like, this shit can really, really, like, it can be on some Avatar, Naruto, Marvel, Funimation type stuff, you know, and that's what we need. That's what we need out here. All of these whitewashed characters that once represented us as melanated people. You know, um, white Spider-Man. You got the white Spider-Man. You got the white Aquaman. You got the white Iron Man. The white Thor. And we know all of these characters were based on jet black Orisha kings and queens. You know, you got Storm. She's black. You got Halle Berry. She's Storm. But at the end of the day, a lot of her powers had to be softened in order for her to fit in with the rest of the crew. You know, and when you really examine the raw power that Oya has, she can destroy shit all on her own. She don't need nobody else. You know, Oya don't need nobody else when it comes to destruction. You know, um, and it's a beautiful thing too that I have a certain relationship with these energies where I can channel them. So when it comes to how they're betrayed, how they're portrayed, and stuff like that, it's gonna be through channel. I'm gonna let them come through. You know, I'm gonna let them come through, and Oya has already showed me how she want to be portrayed. I already know how the baby SU wants to be portrayed. Um, Oshun, she is a warrior princess. I want to show that. I want to show Oshun when she has her body, when she has on her body. I want to show her as that warrior princess. Where she got that long stick, with the jiggly booty, but she got the six. She got like her body. She don't got abs, but her stomach is real tight. It's Oya who got the six-pack abs. Oya, she has a more Serena Williams type of body, but she's a lot more slender. And then you got Oshun. She has a lot more meat on her bones. She's a lot more jiggly. And stuff like that. But she can fight. Like her arms are very strong. She can fight. But she can also put on a sundress and some heels and kill it. You know. So I wanna show that. I wanna be able to show Obanani in her fighting dojo. You know, I'm just giving y'all some little insight. I'm giving y'all some insight, on some stuff that I got down the pipeline. I want to show y'all Obanani's dojo. You know, I want to show y'all, when Obanani isn't being a queen, she has a dojo, and she has a bunch of women, and she also has a bunch of men in this dojo, and she's training them how to fight. She's training them about war. She's training them about how to use their machete, and how to use their shield, because Obanani, she has a shield that she uses to fight. Oya, she doesn't use a shield. Um, Oya, she has two weapons. She has a long machete, like a long sword, and then she has this other little thing. It's like I don't know what you call it, but it's like a whip, but it got these long little strings on it with spikes at the end. And when she swings it real fast, it turns into fire, and that's what she uses to shield. Like, this is all shit that I got in my head, y'all. When I tell y'all, like, the vision is already out. The vision is already out. Like, when you're tapped into these energies, you can see them, and they'll show you, like, okay, back in this time, this is how I used to look, this is how I used to fight, this is how I used to talk, this is how I used to walk, all of that. you know so yeah, I don't know why I'm sharing all of this. If anybody steal it, y'all know y'all heard it here first. you know and even if they try to steal it, can't nobody do it like me. This is what I'm sharing with y'all right now, is only um a small microcosm to what I really got up my sleeve. you know um so I feel you, it's going to be super dope. Yeah, because I be talking about this stuff all the time. you know um and it feels good. It feels good when you feel like a family member. It's a lot better when you're a family member than when you're a devotee. you know I know that may I know that may have went over a lot of people's head. um but when it comes to dealing with these energies, you want to deal with them in the realm of a family member than dealing with them as a devotee. you know Especially with Oshun. If you treat her like a celebrity, she'll treat you like a fan. She gonna treat you like a fan. You gonna wonder why it's taking so long for your stuff to come through. you know um so let's get into these alignments. um let's see what we got here. I got two phones. So I got one phone that's doing all of this stuff that you see and that you hear, and then I got this other phone in my hand, and this is what I'm gonna use to give y'all these alignments. So right now, the story that's going on right now, you know. This is the story of Shango. While we're in Aries season, this is the story of Shango as a man, you know, and also, if this is a woman, then this is gonna be the story of Pambagira. Pambagira, the fiery Oshun, of Kimbanda. You know, so that's what this story is about. If you're a man or a woman, because they're both the same energy. Pambagira, the queen of the night, the fiery queen of the night, and also the Aries Shango, which is the warrior, the alpha male, and the hot-headed warrior, the alpha male, and the womanizer, the player, you know, um, it's all the same energy, with this Aries, you know. Um, he doesn't turn into the Shango that y'all know and love until he gets into his Aquarius phase, which is what he's getting into now, you know. So my when we last left off on this saga, Obatala has broken down to the baby Shango about what he needs to do, how he needs to act, how he needs to be if he's serious about being a king, you know. And I gave y'all 12 rules of the game that Obatala gave to Shango when it came to the way he should move being a king, you know. So right now, Shango, aka the sun in Aries, is in the 5th house. So at first it was in the 6th house, you know. Now it's in the 5th house, you know. So when it comes to the soul family with this, this is us, you know. We have a passion right now. A lot of us are having this impulsive passion to uniquely express ourselves creatively. We have a passion to uniquely express ourselves creatively, you know. So that's what a lot of us are going to be on. But when it comes to our emotions and the way that we're going to go about doing that, we got to go and see where the moon is at. So right now the moon is in Aquarius in the 3rd house. So it starts with a intelligent thought, you know. It starts out with a intelligent thought, you know, an intelligent thought. And this is a deep thought. This is a deep intelligent thought, because Pluto is in Capricorn. So this is a deep intelligent thought, you know. And you're understanding that it's going to have to be a serious plan put in place, so that you can achieve this goal, which is you finally being able to express yourself creatively, expressing yourself in a unique way creatively, you know. So in our saga, Shango, he's learning about what he needs to do to be a king. So now he's studying because he don't want to upset his father. He doesn't want to dissatisfy his father. So he's in school, you know. He's studying. He's showing himself approved. He's studying right now and showing himself approved, you know. So he's in class with the baby SU. Now in this story, the baby SU, you know, he's in a few grades above Shango. You know, Shango, you know, he's like the intelligent Tupac nerd. He's like the Tupac nerd, you know. That's the teacher's pet, but he's still a ladies' man. You know, he's the Tupac nerd right now, you know. So him and so the baby SU, you know, he's associating with Shango, you know, and he feels like now is the time to give him the knowledge about why he's really here, you know, you know. And with the midheaven being in Leo, you know, this is him internalizing what it is that he's supposed to be, you know, which is this Jah lion, the Leo, you know. And he's internalizing this, and this is what he's looking up to be. You know, he's looking up to be the male Yalorde. You know, everything that Oshun had to go through to become the queen, You know, Shango is learning that this is what he's gonna have to do in his path to also become a king. You know, um, now now the baby Eshu, he understands that Shango is a hothead. He understands that if he gives this information in a certain way to Shango, Shango will literally go home and find Ogun and take that act. Like you know, he'll go run in the forest and find Ogun and kill him. You know, and at the end of the day, that's not how Batman. That's not how Batman defeats the Joker. You know, when we think about this feud between between Ogun and Shango, it's either like the Batman and the Joker, or it's kind of like Batman and Superman. Batman versus Superman, in a way. When you think about it, you know. So the baby Eshu, he's explaining to Shango like, yo, you know, so this is why you're really here. Libra is in the 12th house, you know. So Eshu is telling Shango about the past imbalance that was going on before he got here. So in essence, the baby Eshu is giving Shango a Akashic record reading right now. You know, this is what he's studying. So he's studying how to be a king, but he's also learning about the true purpose that he has to do, which is to dethrone the purpose that Shango and the biblical Jesus, the purpose that the Shango and the biblical Jesus had in common. They both had to come here to outwit the old. You know, the standard of alpha, the standard of being a king, the standard of you know, the standard that Ogun had. Shango was brought here to change that system of supremacy with a system of justice. You know, so Shango, he's coming to the world. He's finding out now what he's getting justice from. You know, remember what I said when I was talking about Ogun in this sense. You know, Ogun in this sense, the wayward Ogun in this sense represents the white supremacists. You know, Ogun in this sense represents the white supremacists that has taken over this country, that has raped our women, raped our Yemoyas, and sold us into slavery and all of this stuff. You know, Ogun represents war. He represents iron. You know, everything that has to do with iron. And we know that when it comes to the white supremacists that run this country, they have access to the military. They have access to politics. They have access to government. You know, these are all things that Obatala once upon a time appointed Ogun to do. You know, so in this Pataki, that's what Ogun is representing. You know, so Shango at this point in time, you know, he represents, like I said, the young Tupac. You know, somebody had to put Tupac on game about who he is. You know, and as you can see, once Tupac found out about who he was, he started really like on that revolutionary tip. Like he really started embodying the revolution. His whole being was the revolution, was revolutionary. You know, he was 16, 17 years old at Black Panther rallies and talking to these grown men and women, you know, like he's an elder, you know. So this is what, so at the end of the day, this is what Shango is slowly morphing into. you know. And he understands at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to go up to Ogun and just slit his throat, you know. And this is what Eshu is telling Shango. You're not going to be able to just go and you know and find and eradicate all of these 13 families, and you know, you're not going to be able to just go march up to the White House or march up to the to England and you know and just eradicate. No, that's not how you do it. You know, you can't try to use the olden method to try to kill that system. I hope y'all get where I'm coming from with that. Because you have a lot of activists that feels like they can do that, and it's not gonna work. You know, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to take the things of that old system and try to use that to kill that system. You know, so in this Pataki, he knows that he's not gonna be able to just walk up to Ogun and kill him. At the end of the day, that's his brother. You know, so he has, if he wants to defeat his brother, he has to do it with honor. So these are all the things that that Shango has in his has in his mind right now, that this is what he's gonna have to do, because Pisces is in the 5th house. So he's trying to figure out a creative way to avenge his mother. That's all that's on his mind. That's all that he's dreaming about. That's all he wants to do. You know, he wants to avenge his mother. He wants to avenge his mother by being he wants to avenge his mother from being raped by Ogun. You know, aka, you know, this is a story of a slave boy, a young Nat Turner. This is the story of a young Nat Turner that's rising up. He just found out by his big brother that his mom was raped by the white slave master, and you know, he understands that I can't just go to the slave master house and kill him. No, you know, that's too easy. It's too dangerous. You know, so think about the process that Nat Turner took, you know, before he finally did his attack, before he finally went on the attack. Think about the process that he had to do before he got to that point, you know. So at the end of the day, you know, expressing, we're trying to find a creative way to express our uniqueness and our uniqueness and individuality in the midst of La La Land. You know, because at the end of the day, everybody else is in La La Land. You know, 5th house in Pisces and Libra is in the 12th house. So this means that everybody else is unbalanced, you know, because of their past, because of the stuff that they're going through. Everybody else in the world is in La La Land. You know, they're expressing their creativity and uniqueness and individuality, but it's coming off as La La Land. You know, it's coming off as twisted, you know, real twisted and unbalanced, you know, deep twisted and unbalanced. So Shango, you know, if he truly wants to be a leader, you know, this is his ultimate test. This is his ultimate test. You know, him being able to defeat Ogun in a classy new age alpha type of way. You know, this is a lot of these newer activists, you know, coming out, and they're not as militant as the elders before them, because you know, back in that time, it was a different game. It was a different game that was being played, you know, and that game has already been patched. If you know anything about games and mods and stuff like that, um, you know, you understand that once a game development company finds out that you can cheat on their game, they quickly update it with a patch, so that way if you try to do that again, you're going to get banned, you know. So that's what's going on now. You have a lot of these old Oguns, you got a lot of these old Oguns that's mad at the youth, because the youth is trying to find a new way to defeat this to defeat these soulless beings that we've been fighting, ever since a lot of us came here, on those slave ships, you know. And the thing about it is, right now, some of the plans are promising, and some of it is not. But right now in Aries season, you just gotta try. Like I said, I don't care if I gotta be the martyr, in this situation, because at the end of the day, I knew that today, March 26th, Saturday, I was gonna do a live reading. I was gonna do a alignment, no matter what. I was gonna do these alignments no matter what. I ain't care how I was gonna do it. It's gonna get done. And at the end of the day, wait, let me know if y'all can still hear me. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Yo, check. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know before I keep going. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Let me see. Okay, Firewater, put a one. Okay. So yeah, so in a nutshell, this is what's going on, So right now, Shango is coming off, even though he haven't done an attack yet. Even though he haven't done an attack, because right now, Shango, he got the Art of War. He got the Sun Tzu Art of War, issued, and then put him on to the Art of War by Sun Tzu. Eshu is putting him on to the 48 Laws of Power. Eshu is filling Shango full of books, full of books and full of certain things that he can read, so he can learn how to calculate. So he can learn how to calculate his moves and stuff. So this is what he's doing. So ascending in Scorpio. He's moving in silence. He's moving in secrecy, but his personality, he looked like he got murder on his mind. Right now, with this information that he found out about Ogun, ascending in Scorpio, he looked like he got murder on his mind. He looked like it. He looked like he's straight about his business. He looked like he got murder on his mind. And all y'all looking real scrumptious right now. Shango, he kind of thinking a little bit. He's like, yo, his third house is in Capricorn. I'm gonna go through it. So his second house is in Sagittarius. So this is Shango first house is in Scorpio. He got murder on his mind. He looked like it, you know. And at the end of the day, impulse, you know, Oya looking real good right now. He's thinking about different ways that he can exact his revenge on Ogun, you know. So the first thing, you know, is to have sex with his girl. You know, a lot of us back in the slavery times, you know, we felt like having sex with the slave master's wife was a way at getting revenge on the slave master. You know, some of us thought that. You know, so that's what Oya represents in this situation. You know, and then so when it comes to attitude towards possessions, attitude towards values and all of that, you know, self-esteem, you know, his self-esteem is like his father. You know, let's see what's in the 9th house. Cancer. Yep. You know, he's listening to his father when it comes to that. You know, Sagittarius in the 2nd house. You know, this information that he's getting, this wisdom that he's getting right now is more important than anything else that he could have right now. You know, and that's what he's that's what's on his mind. You know, that's what he's valuing. He's valuing this wisdom. You know, 3rd house. 3rd house is in Capricorn. You know, so his mind, he understands that at the end of the day, you know, this is gonna be a slow burn. He really wants Ogun to suffer, for what he did. And at the end of the day, the way he feels that him dethroning what Ogun used to represent, and him taking that spot would be, you know, that would be one of the biggest forms of this revenge that he can do. You know, so he got Ogun on his mind. You know, and you know, he's not gonna stop until that revenge has been exacted. So what's going on in the home? You know, and this is deep. And at the end of the day, you know, with this going on with Shango in his mind, he's coming off as a shrewd, secretive, and subtle character, endowed with a swift thinking process. All activities based on speed are favored, such as cycling or flying, or as positions requiring quick decision-making capacities. Success can be achieved in police and all kinds of investigation work. I told you. See, even in the stars, is backing what I'm saying. It's backing what I'm saying. You know. However, if mental cleverness is misused in a illegal purpose, one incurs a heavy punishment, such as prison sentence or exile. So you know, Shango, he understands in order for him to do this, he can't just walk up to Ogun and just slit his throat. You know, because that's gonna end him up in exile, and then he's not gonna be able to become the king and the ruler that he came down here to be. You know, so he gotta move smart, and the baby SU is telling him to play by play, because at the end of the day, SU got a vendetta against Ogun as well. Because remember, Ogun kicked SU out the house because he knew SU wasn't gonna keep his mouth shut about what was going on. You know, so that's the reason why SU Legba is collaborating with Shango about Ogun. because both of them have a vendetta against him right now. You know, and the messenger and the warrior are the two classes of alpha males that has been heavily infiltrated by this system of soulless beings, you know, because they know how powerful those two classes are when it comes to us. I'm gonna say it again. The messenger class and the warrior class are the two main classes of melanated alpha males that has been infiltrated by this system of soulless beings, because they understand that those are the two classes that can get them a run for their money and turn this system around and make it into a system of justice. You know? So that's why there had to be a Federal Bureau of Investigation that had to be created. You know, to spy on the likes of people like Martin Luther King, to spy on people that are the likes of Malcolm X, you know, to spy on people like Tupac and his family, you know, to spy on rap groups like the Wu-Tang Clan. You know, there was a whole task force just to spy on the Wu-Tang Clan because of how powerful messengers they were. And they were a part of the 5%ers, you know, the nations of gods and earths, you know. So this is very deep. I'm showing y'all how deep these patakis are. You know, these patakis were never meant to be taken literal. They were meant to talk about events that always went on in this planet. You know, everything that we're going through right now, it has happened before. You know, it has happened before, and we got past it before, and we're gonna get past it now. But certain things has to play out in order for the story to complete. You know. So that's what's going on in his mindset. So what's going on in the home? You know, Aquarius. You know, he's doing his homework. He's doing his homework. You know, age of Aquarius, when it comes to our roots, when it comes to our heritage, when it comes to knowing who we are and stuff like that. Right now, the baby issue is the historian. Right now, the baby issue, your inner child wants to be a historian to let you know where you come from. Your inner child wants to be a historian for you right now. You know, so you can learn about who you are, so you can self-improve. You know, so you can learn about who you are, so you can analyze and investigate your inheritance. You know, so that's what's going on with this fourth house in Aquarius. You know, so let's look at all the different aspects that's in this fourth house, all the different planets. We got Mars and Aquarius in the fourth house, you know. So Eshu, he's being a historian, you know, because Virgo is in the 11th house. So right now, the baby Eshu is being a historian, letting Shango know about his passions, where his passions come from, why he's so aggressive, why he got such a bad temper, you know, all the things that talk about Mars. You know, he's explaining to him why he's the way he is, you know, subconsciously, you know. And Shango is loving this knowledge. He's loving this knowledge. Venus in Aquarius, you know. He is loving this knowledge that is being bestowed on him right now. He's loving this knowledge, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, true knowledge, what they say, the truth can set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So this truth is setting him free. This is how Shango is finally able to get his temper problem under control. Because at first he was just lost. He didn't know. He didn't know why he was so angry. He didn't know why he was so full of temper and full of rage and full of anger. You know. So right now, when it comes to relationships and marriage and things like that, again, Juno is in Aquarius in the fourth house. So in the home, Shango is learning about all the things that his mama went through. He's learning about all the things that his father, his stepfather Obatala, went through in the home. But the fact that they were able to, come out of that and stand strong, this is what turns Shango into an active, observant, and optimistic character, endowed with the capacity to turn obstacles into assets. Again, childhood is clouded by financial setbacks underwent by the parents. For professional purposes, one travels abroad and amasses valuable knowledge which one puts in practice in their country. Success and decent wealth can be achieved in all careers requiring movement. So again, this is all things that are happening in the home. This is all stuff that's happening in the home that Shango is learning about who he is and why he truly came here. And also Saturn in Aquarius in the fourth house. So it was Eshu's job. It was Eshu's job to give Shango the hard reality of why he had to come here. It was his job to give Shango that hard reality. Even and he knew that it was gonna be, it was gonna be hard, because Shango, deep down he has a good heart. He has a heart. He has a good heart. So he knew that this was gonna really, really hurt Shango, but at the end of the day, it had to be done. Sometimes things has to be broken up, in order for what needs to sprout to be able to come through. So that's what happened. When you out there, when y'all get on this journey and y'all learn who y'all are and what roots and heritage y'all truly come from, and you find out the harsh reality of why you had to come here, you find out the harsh reality on what your family lineage have went through, that may awaken a Shango spirit within y'all, to light a fire up under y'all, like, yo, this is the reason why I have to do what I came here to do. So let's see what else. Do we got anything else? So we got Vesta. So this mindset, this intelligent mindset, because he associated with the baby Eshu, Virgo in the 11th house, he associated with the baby Eshu that gave him the truth. Now this is the mindset that Shango has right now. He has the mindset of an independent, wise, and courageous character. One regards freedom as a priceless treasure and pays little attention to worldly goods. This degree symbolizes a dilemma between freedom with all its uncertainties and security with all its constraints. Unless the natal chart indicates otherwise, one resists the lure of money and power. Nevertheless, there is a danger of deprivation of liberty caused by political reasons. You know, all of this is what's going on in that picture that y'all see in front of y'all. You know, that's what's going on with these alignments. You know, and if you're someone that is working diligently so you can finally be able to express yourself uniquely and original in a creative way, you know, this is something that you got in the back of your mind, you know, because when it comes to devoting yourself to a cause, it has to start in the mind first. You know, you gotta be independent, you know, understanding that you may have a certain idea or something like that that's so out of the way. You know, it's just so crazy, so out of the way that only you can do it, but it seems impossible. So you may have to be independent once you find out who you are and you really want to devote yourself to this cause. You might have to be independent, you know, because nobody else may believe in you. But that may be your life path. That literally may be why you chose to come here, for that reason. So if that's the case, you have everything you need inside of you. You don't need nobody else to believe in what you got going on. You know? So wise. You know? The wisdom within is all you need. The wisdom within is all you need to go forth and be courageous. You know, courageous. When you have the courage to do what others won't do, that's a heart thing. That's a Leo thing. Courage is a Leo thing. You know, because if you don't have courage, you have cowardice, which is also a Leo when that Leo is not acting in their nature. You know, and that's all in the midheaven. The midheaven is in Leo, so this is your career. You know, being courageous about whatever that is, whatever that career is that's going to make you a king or make you a queen, you know, it means that only you was chosen to do this. And you know, it's never easy. It's never easy to do this, you know, but at the end of the day, what gives you that fuel to go out and grind and to go out and get it, to go out and do this, is that you regard freedom as a priceless treasure. It's like, yo, you know, financial freedom, you know, that's the priceless treasure that I'm working towards. And I know that once I get this off the ground and it grows legs, I'll never have to worry about money again. You know, I'll never have to worry about constraints when it comes to travel and when it comes to being able to make money and stuff like that. You know, what's popping, Straight Panther? What's good with you? We getting into these alignments, you know. So the motivation. We're on the 5th house. So all of this creative energy, you know, Yemoya is nurturing Shango's creative energy, you know, and this was very important because the reason why Shango is able to be so calculated in his Aquarian self is because you know, he was able to his mom was very instrumental in giving him that love and that nurturing that he needed so he can stay a baby long enough. You know, I always talk about there's certain children. You have certain children that needs to stay a baby a lot longer than other children. You know, now you won't know this unless you're now and this is just me talking, because this is how I feel. This may not be true, but this is how I feel. Unless you know about the Orisha energies that are in your child, You, I can't see how you would know this just by eyeball and just by uh uh you know just by assuming. You know, you got to know the Orisha energies that are in your child, because if you have a child that is a baby SU, he's gonna want to jump off the porch a lot earlier than he needs to, you know, because he's curious. You know, baby issues, baby Shangos, and baby Oshuns. No, yeah, baby Oshuns, baby Shangos, and baby issues. When they're a child, they always want to get off the porch. They always want to get off the porch earlier than they need to, because they're curious. You know, they'll get into anything. You know, you think they sleep. You know, you up watching scary movies, or you up watching something that you ain't supposed to be watching, and you think your baby SU child, or your baby Shango child, or your baby Oshun child is asleep, and what you don't know is they're literally creeping behind the couch in the living room watching everything that you're doing, and then you wondering why they're saying certain words, and they know how to say certain phrases, and they know how to do certain things, and all of that type of stuff, you know. But that doesn't mean that that they're supposed to jump off the porch early. The three examples: the baby Oshun, the baby Shango, and the baby Eshu. They actually need to stay a baby a lot longer than the other children. It's very pivotal. That's very pivotal. Is very pivotal that they stay a child a lot longer, because with the road, and I'm so glad my mom was instrumental in making me stay a child, because I was curious about a lot of shit, you know, curious about a lot of shit, doing a lot of stuff, you know. But at the end of the day, my mom and dad sheltered me enough to where I didn't grow up too fast, and I was able to preserve a lot of my innocence for the road that I had ahead, you know. And that's the thing. Again, I tell y'all that this is like an arcade, you know. When you're a child, you're in this arcade called life, and you got a pocket full of change. You got a pocket full of y'all like that? Wait, y'all got a pocket full of change. Y'all got a pocket full of items that can cause cause change, and it has a value that can change. You know, that's what you have as a child. And every time that you pay attention, to something because of your curiosity, that is the equivalent of a child looking at a video game arcade cabinet and putting his quarter in that cabinet, you know. And you know, whether he wins or loses at that game, because if he wasn't taught, if his mom and dad didn't give him that pep talk before he went to the arcade, that it's just a game, you're not supposed to take it serious, you know. Every time you take a quarter out your pocket and you put it in that machine, that's a piece of your soul that you've put in a inanimate person, place, or thing, or situation. You know, that's the best way I can explain it. And you don't want to lose your innocence, because once you don't got no more quarters, in your pocket, that's all your innocence is gone. Because it's like, damn, now I'm walking around the arcade looking at all these beautiful video games, and I can't even play them. because I don't got no more money. So now I'm like, man, I don't want to be in this arcade no more. And what you want to do, you want to check out. You want to leave, you want to check out. I want my mommy, you know? So that's the equivalent of, you know, you wasn't calculated with the way you spent your money, with the way you spent your change. You wasn't calculated with your change, you know? And you spent your change on a lot of bullshit, you know? You got this heart, you got this idea in you, you got this energy in you of change and justice. But instead of you creating something grassroots and stuff like that, where that change can actually mean something, you're putting your change in a arcade cabinet called Black Lives Matter. You're putting your change in an arcade cabinet called you know, all of these different little organizations and, you know, feminism. You know, you're putting change in feminism, which is something that's just, you know, all of these things just take your money. It take away your innocence. It takes your money. You know? And then once you become an adult, you know, once you finally get knowledge of self, so now you know who you are, how much innocence do you really have left? You know, or are you suicidal? You want to check out. I want my mommy. I don't want to be here no more. You know? Move your mouse. Hold on. I'm still here. Can y'all still hear me? I don't want my shadow to turn off. Let me know if y'all can still hear me, because I was going in. I was going in. If anybody wants a live reading or a live alignment, make sure you send the Cash App. Let me check my Cash App. See if anybody sent anything. Nope, nobody sent anything yet. So if y'all want a live reading, make sure you send the Cash App. And if you just want to support me, you know, if you just want to support me, if you love what I'm doing, make sure you send a Cash App, you know, just to show your support, you know. But yeah, so that's what's going on, you know. Definitely keep that in mind. You know, fifth house is in Pisces. Shango, Yemoya made sure to preserve a lot of Shango's innocence when he was a baby. You know, so that because she understood the road ahead. You know, she understood that one day Eshu was gonna tell Shango why he's really here, and you know that road ahead is gonna be real crazy. You know, so that's what that fifth house, that's what that fifth house is about. You know, at the end of the day, when it comes to you, you know, working on this and stuff like that, you got to understand that if it's something that's meant to last, you know, something that's meant to be worthwhile, if it's something that's meant to be for the long run, just like with my situation, you may not, even if you may have the right ideas, sometimes you got to wait to execute certain things. You know, certain things may not be what they're supposed to be at that moment, and you gotta wait, and you gotta be patient, and for those things to come in and introduce themselves. You know, so the pataki about how Shango got with Oya. You know, I know a lot of y'all probably heard about this, but there was a point in time where, you know, Shango, he was like, man, you know, I'm kill him slowly. You know, instead of me coming at him, instead of me coming at him in the way that everybody looks at me, thinks that I'm gonna come at him. You know, I'm gonna chip away at all the things that he love. I'm gonna chip away at all the things that he love, and I'm gonna get him that way. All right, Panther. You know, for the most part, this is gonna be up. I probably got to take the DJ mix out, but this'll be up. You know. So what he did was, the first thing, you know, was Oya. Oya was she's extremely loyal to Ogun. You know, but with Shango having the type of energy that he have, you know, because of Yemoya was able to preserve a lot more innocence in Shango than Ogun. The reason why Ogun was so abusive, and the reason why he was the way he was because he wasn't able to be a child when he was a little boy. You know, and with some kids, that's actually a part of their life path, because they gotta have a certain degree of toughness about them. So you got some kids like Oyas, Eshuas, and Oguns. Now a lot of these kids, because of a lot of unfortunate circumstances, they have to step off the porch at an early age. You know, the Sagittarian issues, you know, the iceberg slims, the you know, the Sagittarian issues, you know, and a lot of the Aries issues. A lot of them, they have to step off the porch at an early age because of unfortunate situations with Oguns. A lot of them is a situation where it's lack of stability. You know, they had to step off the porch at an early age so they can provide for their family. You know, even when it came to the Sagittarian Legbas and Eshus, a lot of them that I'm meeting, they had to step off the porch at an early age because, you know, their whole family was strung out on crack. You know, their whole family was messed up. And it's like, yo, like, you know, if you're gonna survive, you better go out there and hustle. You know, you better go out there and get it. You better go out there and figure out you know, how you about to get some food in your stomach. You know, you better rob somebody. You know, you better sell some crack. You know, you better learn how to chop some bricks or something. You know, and when it comes to a lot of Oyas, when it comes to a lot of baby Oyas, you know, sometimes they have it the worst as kids. You know, because their body is like a marketplace. When it comes to Oya, she's the goddess of the marketplace, and when you have a essence that is of a marketplace, but you don't know who you are, that's like you have that's like you got a Neiman Market store, or you got a freaking Dolce and Gabbana, or, you know, one of those Miami fashion district type of stores, but the store don't know who they are and they don't have the right security. So as a child, as a baby Oya, as a child, to you know, to soulless men and women, to soulless people, you look like a lick because you don't know who you are. Like, they know when you get older, you know, your marketplace is going to be ironclad, tight shut, you know. So this is the reason, this is the mental and emotional toxic reason why a lot of baby Oyas have abuse and different things happening to them as a child, because they're not old enough to fight yet. They're not old enough to fight off the abuser yet. You know, they're not old enough to fight them off yet. Their punches aren't strong yet. You know, And this is the reason why it takes Oyas a lot more shadow work, you know, if they want to get into a healthy relationship, because either they're going to attract abusive boyfriends, or they're going to end up being the one abusing their man, you know. Because that toxic masculine, it don't go nowhere, you know, until you deal with it and figure out, you know, figure out why is it that was developed in you. Very important, very important. So I'm just letting y'all know, and there are way many Orishas than that. You know, I'm still doing my research and stuff like that, but I'm just showing you how you have certain souls, certain children that come here. You know, it's not a it's not far-fetched that they're showing you their maturity at an early age with some of them. You know, some of these children have souls to where you can talk to them about grown-up stuff at 5 years old. You know, you can talk to them about grown up type of things in middle school. You know, before they even hit puberty, a lot of them are going to be asking you as a parent certain questions that you're like, yo, like, this is something that a 18, 19-year-old is supposed to be asking. You know, why are you asking it? And the worst thing that you can do as a parent is to shrug it off and say, boy, you know, girl, go in your room. You know, you don't know no better. Go in your room. You know, you'll learn about that when you get older. You know, because it's a reason why that child is asking you that. You know, and it's better if you keep that communication, that line of communication, pivotal line of communication open as a child, than keep on you know, brushing certain things off, and then you find out about different traumas and stuff when they get older from the back end. You know, because Oya is gonna let you know, a baby Oya is gonna let you know if Uncle Ray Ray tried to mess with her in her room while you was asleep that night. You know, the baby Oya, she's gonna let you know certain things. You know, she gonna be asking you certain things. She gonna let you know certain things. You know, and your response to whatever that she brings to your attention is gonna determine whether when she gets older she's just gonna be secretive and not tell you anything, and you just gonna wonder why she have certain outbursts and stuff like that. I know I'm talking to somebody out there. You know, it's only 4 people in the chat. I know I'm talking to somebody. Somebody gonna come in and they're gonna be like, yo, you talking about my child. I need to be more attentive and really investigate Uncle Ray Ray, because of what you just said in this live stream. Because I get the readings from them as an adult. I get the readings from these Oyas and these Adawados as an adult, and they have to tell me this stuff, and I'm like, yo, why did that parent believe her, you know, or him? Why did the parent believe them when they was younger and nip that in the bud back then? You know, so that's very important. You know, so again, when it comes to your work, when it comes to Shango's work, you know, he's not trying to do it like the olden people, you know, like the people of old, like the kings of old. He understands that he's bringing a whole new flavor. You know, he's bringing in a whole new wave, a whole new flavor. You know, so when it comes to the soul family, and you're trying to associate mentally with like-minded SUs, so y'all can collectively express this uniquely creative type of situation. You know, It's not about you. It's not about you recreating the last thing that was hot. You know, you have a lot of record labels that's doing that. You know, um, you got Megan Thee Stallion in hot water right now. But at the end of the day, um, was Megan Thee Stallion supposed to be the Nicki Minaj replacement? Because she don't really have a style that's truly her own. You know, Doja Cat, her style is her own. You know, I don't really know nobody who sound quite like Doja Cat, but Doja Cat can be an example because she's a Virgo moon. She's a baby Yeshua, you know? And a lot of times, baby issues, we end up with the person that you would least expect. Think about Jesus. He was with a prostitute, Mary Magdalene. You know, he's supposed to be this messenger, this saint, and he's with the person that you least expect, which is a prostitute. You know, but she was his most loyal servant. She never failed him, and she continued to preach his word when Jesus ascended. You know, so that's the same thing when it comes to Nicki Minaj, Virgo Moon. She got with somebody that you least would expect, Kenneth Petty. You know, someone who, is a sex offender. You know, Doja Cat, Virgo Moon. She ended up getting with somebody that you least would expect, a white guy, a nerdy looking gamer white guy at that. The type of guy that a lot of people in the manosphere, you know, they feel like if they're this archetype of a guy, they'll never be able to pull a baddie like Doja Cat. You know? But again, Eshu, that's when he comes to the world, that's what he does. You know? And this is what the baby Eshu is trying to explain to Shango when it comes to him exacting this revenge on Ogun. You know? So, seventh house is in Taurus. You know? At the end of the day, the partnerships, you know, he know now. He definitely know now that whoever that he partners up with, and this is something that his father, Obatala, has been telling him, you know, again, North Node, the North Node is also in Taurus in the seventh house, you know, and then we got Uranus, which is individual freedom and all of that type of stuff, you know. So at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to this, he understands that he needs to partner up with stable people like his father, you know, partnering up with stable people that are like his father, you know, and that's a part of his life path. This is what's going to make him a generous, helpful character. You know, misplaced confidence result in suffering and disappointments. Your generosity shares everything that you possess with the less fortunate people. You know, and when you look at Obanani and how she used to rule as a queen, you know, she was very generous. She was the generous queen. You know, she ruled with fairness and balance. She was like Mayat. You know, as a queen, Obanani ruled with fairness and balance. You know, so at the end of the day, he knows that this is what he needs to originally get with. But like I said, you know, when your career is to be the king lion, the king Ja lion, you're gonna be surrounded with a bunch of Taurus Oshuns, a bunch of gold diggers. You know, and you got to be able to sift between all of that. You know, so eighth house in Gemini. You know, so when it comes to so right now, you know, Shango, this is Shango also learning about dirty talk, you know, learning about manipulation with your words, learning how to use your words. This is what you learn as a pastor. you know you learn how to use your words in a certain way to influence the congregation to give you money. you know Influence the congregation to break themselves and empty out their pockets with that collection money. you know Now, this eighth house in Gemini, this can be a good trait. This can be a good trait if you know how to use this correctly, because this can make you a very, very ironclad wise legba. You know, this makes you into a you can't trick the trickster type of entity, and this is the type of energy that Shango is letting off. You know, and again, you know, Oya is kind of in the background, and she's kind of looking. She's like, damn, like, she's kind of she's using Legba. She's using Legba as a lookout. To send messages back and forth, spying on Shango. Because again, Oya, if she can, she'll relegate other people to do her dirty work if she can. Oya represents the marketplace, but she also can represent the manager, the shrewd manager, that appointed other people to do her work, to keep her business afloat. And sometimes, when you out here and you're learning and you're trying to creatively and uniquely express yourself, sometimes you might have to do a little manipulation to get certain things done. I'm doing manipulation right now. I done manipulated this phone into using Windows, into using OBS, into using all of the things that I would use on my MacBook, but I've manipulated my phone into doing it. At the end of the day, my Shangos, and this is something that a lot of our fallen warriors, a lot of our fallen messengers and stuff have suffered this, because at the end of the day, you got certain messengers that was never meant to be in the line of fire, like Biggie. He was never meant to be in LA. Like Tupac. Tupac was never meant to be in Vegas, let alone without a vest. King Von, Virgo Moon, he was never meant to be in Atlanta where his ops was at. Young Dolph, he was never meant to be in Memphis alone with no security. I don't care if you go into McDonald's to get a Big Mac. When you get at a certain level and you have a certain aura about you, you got this Leo aura where everybody want to be you, everybody want to be like you. Your ops are always lurking in the shadows to catch you lacking. They always lurking so they can catch you lacking. And what this Gemini in the 8th house, you always got to have some messengers. Always got to have some secret messengers, some secret hitters, some secret people in the background that nobody knows about that can give you that intel. You're never supposed to be without security. I don't care if you just walk. I don't care if you just walk into the bathroom, because that little slither of a moment that you're out vulnerable, you can get got. And when you think about a lot of our messengers that we still need them today, but they're not here, that was where they failed at. You know, that's where they failed at. So that's very important. Let me see. I appreciate you, Carol Hills. I appreciate you for the donation. Um, so yeah, you know, um, let me see. So ninth house, you know, your wisdom comes from your elders. So right now, since the baby Eshu has pretty much gave Shango a Akashic record reading and let him know why he is the way he is and all of that, he has the wisdom of a elder. And this is the reason why even to this day, there are cults of Shango. They're called the cult of Shango. Shango has a very, very occult following. You know, even to this day, Shango has a very, very occult following. Now there's an imposter. There's a Shango imposter, a Shango Obatala imposter that's out here, you know, faking like he is the new Shango on Earth. Y'all might know who he is, you know, but he's already been found out, and you know, his justice will be served soon. You know, he isn't the first, and he definitely won't be the last. But at the end of the day, if you understand the signature of where these energies originated, you can never be fooled. You know, because you got a lot of people out here acting like they're this and acting like they're that. You know, but if you're in that energy of you're like their brother, so you was raised up with them, you know how their mama is, you know how their daddy is, you know, like, yo, like you ain't no gangster, you ain't no killer, you know, you was a scary ass nigga as a kid, you know, as a jit, you know, you was raised up in private school. Why are you in the streets? You know, on the low, you got a scholarship to go to Harvard. You know, you a Poindexter. Why you got a gun in your hand and some dope in your pocket? You don't need to be out here. You know, why are you here? And that's the type of energy that you have when you got somebody's number. You know, you can see who they are. You know, you got that elder wisdom, you know, so you can see who people are a mile away. And at the end of the day, that was the biggest thing that Eshu and Obatala bestowed on Shango. Because if not, you know, Shango would have ended up just like Tupac. You know, Tupac cashed in all his innocence at 25. So once he got to 24, 25, all his innocence was gone. So the next time somebody had something out for him, they was able to catch him slipping. You know, that's what happened. That's what happened when you used up all your innocence. And you know, and you don't know who you are, so you can't replenish it. You know, this is a science. It's very important. You know, a lot of people that die at an early age, it's because their innocence was all of their innocence was extracted from them at that point. You know, once you can't locate your soul, your solar essence, and you can't be a baby no more, this life starts to get real spooky. It starts to get real bad, starts to get real spooky. And like I said in the metaphysics of suicide, once you be like, yo, why the fuck am I even here? Now you're on the midnight train. You're on the midnight train to suicide. You know? So we got the 10th house. You know, your job, you know, he understands that at the end of the day, his career is gonna be like a celebrity. You know, he's gonna be like a celebrity, so you know, he has to move accordingly. You know, he got to move accordingly, and this is what he's keeping in mind. You know, 11th house. You know, associating associating with pure-hearted people who only want to see you win, and they only want to give you the game. They only want to give you game because they want to see you win. You know, when you have this type of life path, when you have this type of life path, that's the only type of people, places, and things and situations that you need to be associating yourself with. You know, that's those are the only people, places, and things that you need to associate with are people who are self-improving. You know, people who work hard, and they're innocent, and they only want to see each other. They only want to see each other win, and they'll tell you the truth, and they'll let you know when you fucking up, and they'll let you know when you need to tighten up. Real talk. Real talk. You know, and if you can heed that message, you know, 12th house in Libra, your desires and all of that stuff will have a balance to it. You know, you won't be out here desiring fame and fast cars and jewelry and, you know, material pleasures. You know, low vibrational desires and material pleasures. You know, you won't get lost in that because you have a balanced way of looking at those things. You know, because you partnered up with the elders or with the babies who's going to give you that wisdom and knowledge. You know, so all in all, soul family, a lot of us right now, you know, we got ideas. We got these ideas, and these ideas, if you can nurture them enough, these ideas may be the one idea that can get you out the hood, whatever that means to you. You know, but at the end of the day, any idea or anything that comes to you and it seems like it's gonna be a get rich quick scheme is not right, because at the end of the day, even though Aquarius is in the fourth house, the moon is in Aquarius in the fourth house. In the third house. The third house is in Capricorn, meaning that you gotta work hard for it. You know, it's gonna be a uphill climb. Anything that's gonna be worthwhile, that's really gonna make you the GOAT, is gonna start with a thought, but it's gonna be an uphill climb, and you can't let that deter you from seeing it through. If this is something that you truly believe is going to help you express your creativity in a unique and original way that you've always wanted to. You know, so that's very important. Jupiter is in Pisces in the fifth house. You know, so the more you're able to nurture these dreams, and you're able to nurture this, the more powerful you're gonna feel, the more powerful you're gonna get. You know, the more you're able to meditate on this Neptune, the more you're able to meditate on this, the more you're able to use your intuition and telepathy and inspiration and stuff like that. You know, the more things are gonna start, the more Akasha, because Akasha is in the 12th house. Anybody can go right now into the Akashic records, and Akasha can let you know all this shit right now. You know, right now. You know, so the more that you can do that, the more, like R. Kelly said, and I believe I can fly. If I can see it, I can do it. If I believe it, there's nothing to it. And that's the motivation, because at the end of the day, this is faith. This is faith. When we're talking about Pisces in the 5th house, this is you having faith that this uniquely original way that you're about to express this creativity, you're having faith that this is truly something that can happen. Because like I said, people not gonna believe in you at first. People are not gonna believe in you at first, you know. But it's your job to keep climbing. Slowly but surely, slowly and steady. Mercury in Pisces in the 5th house. So this is you making a vision board. This is deep. This is deep. This is you making a vision board. This is you making a journal. You can talk to the baby Oshuns about this. They learn about this in class. The baby Oshuns in their femininity class with Yemoya, which is Leo is over the 5th house. So the baby Oshuns, when they learn how to when they're learning how to achieve their goals as the Queen Yalorde and stuff like that, Yemoya teaches the baby Oshun how to journal. Teaches her the importance of meditating and mental telepathy, being able to use being able to use her signal powers, being able to use her powers to call, because it wasn't a such thing as cell phones. You had cauldrons, and in your head you was able to connect with the sun and all of that. So the baby Oshun, at an early age, she learns how to use that ability to be able to call on elders who already did what she's dreaming of doing, and they can give her the play-by-play of how she needs to move, how she needs to act, where she needs to go, all of that kind of stuff. These are abilities that we all used to be able to have. We all have these abilities, but because we are so because we're so wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in this system of soulless beings, and their so-called knowledge and resources and materials and stuff like that, our shit is rusty because we don't use it enough. Because we care too much about what the news say. We care too much about what the books say. And all of that, when at the end of the day, the Akashic records, 90% of what's in the Akashic records are not in books. I can't stand people sometimes. They be like, oh, tell me the book that you got that from. And when you tell them, yo, this is a channel, this was a channel message that I got straight from source, they look at that as pseudo. When at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly how it happened. That's exactly what it is. I can't explain it no more than that. But you have certain people that are in too much in their ego. If you can't give them a book, if you can't give them a pamphlet or a freaking article of where you got your channel information from, they'll render it useless. They'll render it not fact. So at the end of the day, this is you having a ironclad determination, a ironclad faith and determination in yourself, in whatever this is that you're trying to bring out. And this is all that this alignment right now is about. Because Lilith and Gemini in the 8th house, and this is something that I fought in my mind about when I went to Space Cadet Vershad's homegoing. I was like, man, my biggest thing that I would regret is if they say, oh, he was gone too soon, and I leave here not being able to do the things that I really, really wanted to do. you know. And sometimes you have to let that also be a motivation for you to go hard in those times where you get lazy. You know, those times where you like you want to procrastinate and you want to put it off till tomorrow or put it off to next week. You know, you got to have that baby Oya in your head, like, yo, you may die in the next hour. So uh, um, if you die and you was working towards your goals, there can't be a regret there, because at least you was trying, at least you was working on it. But the regret is gonna be, you're older now, your health and strength isn't that good, and all you're thinking about is what could have been. All you're thinking about is what you could have done, and all of that stuff, you know. And these type of legbas, which is the Lilith and Gemini in the eighth house, these are the type of these are the type of legbas that can be a guide at the crossroad when it comes to the youth, you know, the youth that's coming up, and he can be like, yo, um, you know, make sure, go towards your goals and all that stuff, because I don't want you to end up like me. I had everything ahead of me. I had everything at my feet pretty much, but I procrastinated. I felt like that. I felt like I had forever to get this done, and time ended up passing me by. The more and more I procrastinated. You don't want to have that story like what I have. You know, because at the end of the day, if if you don't heed this message, you know, you're gonna end up being a utopian, weak, and undiscerning character. You know, otherwise, owning to bad luck or to a lack of skills. One works a lot but earns little. That's when when you got a passion, when you have a gift, when you got something unique that only you was meant to express out in this world, and you don't do it, that's what you turn into. You turn into that old miser. You turn into that old, weak, undiscerning miser, hermit character, that always seems to be having bad luck because you're out of alignment. So you're no longer in the alignment of love, where love equals luck. You're in a opposite alignment, and you done it to yourself. So now you got bad luck, due to a lack of skills. And you have to work a lot but earn little, because if you could have took that work ethic and put it towards what you were supposed to put it towards, you would be the king, you would be the Jah Lion, with all the money in the world, to the point where you're like Mansa Musa, where you got to give gold away. You got to give, you got so much of it that you can give it away to the people that need it. Mansa Musa was a version of Shango. You know. So at the end of the day, this is a very deep. These are some very deep thoughts that we're going to be having about this. About this. About this. This gift that that you're having, this impulse that you have, and we're all trying to figure out how to uniquely and creatively express whatever that is right now. But know that it's gonna be a it's gonna be a plan. It's gonna be a process. That's the word. It's gonna be a thinking process. It's gonna be a process. But it all starts in the mindset. It all starts with an idea. It all starts with a sketch. It all starts with, and the sketch could be ugly. But that don't matter because you know that that's not the end goal. Like the way I look right now, you know, this setup that I got right now, it look real ugly. That's why I don't got my camera out. This setup look real ugly, but it got the job done. I've been streaming for 2 hours. You know, laying down in my truck. You know, got my phone propped up. You know, got my Magic Mouse hooked up to it. Got my keyboard hooked up to it. Got my other phone over here on the side, looking at the chats and looking at the natal chart. So, you know, I was able to get what I needed done, but it was a hell of a process. But at the end of the day, this is only the beginning. Because when I get paid, I'm gonna go on Amazon and I'm gonna get a little bitty small Bluetooth pocket keyboard. You know, I'm gonna get the S Pen, so that way I'll be able to draw and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna get that case. I'm gonna get the case where I can put the S Pen in it, and then I'll fully have a setup. I'll really have a setup then. You know, so that's the type of mindset that you all need to have right now. You know, if you really are serious about this, you know, you're not gonna let anything stop you. You're not gonna let anything deter you. You're not gonna let anything get in your way when it comes to this goal. Because at the end of the day, only you can do it. This right here, only you can do it. Can't nobody else do it, you know? And that alone could make people jealous of you, you know? Because you got a lot of people around here, they may have some very strong gifts too, but they haven't done that that work of knowing who they are yet. So they feel like they're a nobody. You know, they don't feel like that they're worth anything, you know? So instead of trying to work with you to make the goal, you know, they rather work against you because misery love company. You know, it's lonely at the top, but misery love company. That's a bar that I got in My Time, a song that I made called My Time. I said yesterday I had an epiphany. Never let these haters get to me mentally, physically, sunning them permanently. Never let them from under me. It's lonely at the top, but misery love company. I knew myself from an adolescent. I'm sent from heaven. You know? You know? So that's the type of motivation, that's the type of Piscean motivation that we all have to tell ourselves while we're on this path. You know? You know, because at the end of the day, like they say, we all we got. You know? So if y'all can heed that message, you will be glad that you did. Does anybody want a live reading about this so you can figure out you know what you need to do in order to you know in order to plan and achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve out there? Because if not, I'm gonna shut it on down. Anybody wants a live alignment? Let me check Instagram. What's up, Instagram? What's up, Ancestors favorite? What's up, Dragon Lady Oshun in the building? We got Saki on the beat in the building. On Instagram, we got no Shanta. We got Pull a Happy Face. Shout out to y'all on Instagram for stopping by and coming through. Elliot Mo. Shout out to Elliot Mo on Instagram. You know, it's dope. Like I'm doing all of this on my phone. All of this on my phone. You know. I need a reading. Mona Lisa, send me a message. come to the live stream on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube, and send in your donation. Making me feel real vintage with the song Royal by Arlene 89. Shout out to you. Shout out to Eva the Mystic. Damn, we had a lot of people on Instagram today. Royal, what is this? Royal Nails. Shout out to Royal Nails. Cosmic Ray. Shout out to you. Man, Instagram was popping tonight. I already had a reading. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, Instagram was popping. That's dope, you know. So as y'all know, I have a sale. I got a sale going on. Actually, let me see, can I put this flyer up? Because this is the sale that I have going on right now on my website, www.bandclaptv.com. There's a sale on my page right now, if y'all have been paying attention. So with this sale is gonna go from Friday till Monday. All of my on point Orisha tarot card readings are 50% off, and all of my natal chart consultations are also 50% off. So if you go to my prices, they have been updated for those readings. And to find it, you got to go to www.bandclaptv.com, click on the services tab, and either go to OPOT card readings or go to natal chart readings, and you'll be able to see the 50%. You'll be able to take advantage of that 50% off. And I got an ad going on Instagram right now, so I know a lot of y'all. I appreciate that, Carol Hills. I appreciate that. And the thing about it is too, if you've gotten a reading from me in the past, and it was in like 2020 when I first started, I would never charge you full price. I would never charge you full price. I'll just want like a donation or something. But I would advise you to to get an update, because I learn new stuff, every day. Every day I'm adding different methodologies and different ways to to do these readings. So if you got a reading from me and it was like when I first started doing this, like 2020, around 2019, 2020, I would advise you to get an update, because I didn't added a lot of stuff, especially the everything is everything. I didn't add a lot of more stuff to that reading, and the everything is everything. That reading is for the people who are extremely serious about going on this spiritual journey, going on their path, knowing who they are, knowing why they came here, knowing what Orisha they represent. These are all of the things that we talk about. Those are all the things that we talk about in that everything is everything. That's why it's the most expensive reading, because it's so much information. A lot of times it takes 3 parts, because it's so much information. I can't get it all out in an hour and 55, or I think it's an hour and 45. I think I changed it. So I appreciate everyone who joined. I know it's Saturday night. It's midnight. Damn, we've been on here for a minute. So I appreciate all of y'all. Everything is everything is on point. I recommend everything reading. Yes. See, I keep trying to tell people, you know, when I the everything is everything, that's the reading that I really, really, really take my time, because it's so much that I gotta give you. I gotta really, really take my time with that one. You know, so it's kind of dope, like this setup I got right now. But at the end of the day, I understand that this is nothing but a microcosm of the macrocosm when I have my RV, and I got the monitor with the, with my phone, with the Samsung Dex hooked up to it. Like, you know, this is about to be a really, really the um the turnaround that I'm about to witness in my life is about to be so majestic, and it's about to be so like deserved, you know. Um, but it's gonna be a thing, a situation that people would deem as impossible, like, you know. But it's these little victories. It's these little victories that you have that make you believe in faith, that make you have faith again. You know, me doing this right now has given me so much faith. I never thought, I never like, I never thought that I would be running OBS Studio on my phone and giving y'all this. I never thought in a million years, you know, if you go to Google and type in OBS for Android, the makers of OBS said they would never come out with an Android version, you know. But I'm literally a living witness of making the impossible possible. And some people out there, this may not be nothing. But to me, to me, this is everything right now. Y'all just don't understand. You know, all the shit that I done been through today, or yesterday. So I can come here and give y'all this. And even though the live reading didn't turn out the way I envisioned it, I appreciate you, Carol, for your donation. I know somebody out there needed to hear this. And at the end of the day, that's all that counts. My currency, it always comes through spiritual means, you know. So I know I got mines coming. Shout out to the Sun Goddess. Shout out to the Sun Goddess. Sun Goddess gave me a really good reading yesterday. Um, if y'all want a reading from a baby Oshun, uh, go to Insight Network. Go to the Sun Goddess Instagram page. If you would like a reading from a baby Oya, Max the Muse. What is her Esoteric Esther? Yeah, follow Esoteric Esther on Instagram. Max the Muse. Me and Max, we're gonna be doing some things together. You know, and she is a baby Oya 8080. She's a dragon lady. You know, and all the dragon ladies and all the Obatalas and people that I know that are doing divination, and they're on point. I'll never hesitate to give y'all that, to give y'all those contacts, because I'm not the only one that's out here doing readings and doing stuff, and I never claim to be the creme de la creme. I'm not gonna say you'll never see me do this, but it's when it comes to spirituality, it's hard for me to have an ego with spirituality. So I have to find other things to have an ego with, like my music. You know, I got a big ass ego with my music. I look at myself as the hip hop Michael Jackson. you know, when it comes to music, I got a big ass ego. I'm the hottest DJ. I'm the hottest artist. Fuck everybody else. you know. But when it comes to spirituality, you can't really have an ego with this, because You know, you have to have a humble heart. You got to be meek and lowly at heart, you know, in order to to stay spiritually sound, you know. So you have to create other things that you can have a big ego about to balance that out. And if y'all can heed that message, you'll be glad that you did. I appreciate everyone. Wait, what happened? Wait, what happened? Suggestion. Did my stream go out? My stream just went out. I was already about to end it, y'all. I was already about to end it. Like, you ain't gotta just do me like that. Like, damn. You ain't gotta do me like that. But yeah. That was crazy. Like, everything just randomly just cut off. Like, everything just cut off. And I'm like, yo, like, what just happened? You know? But all right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna change this title. Um, you know, before I get up out of here, I gotta cut that mix out because I already know they're gonna get me for a copyright. So if y'all want to you know, to watch this full video, and also if you want to check out my you know, my podcast, my rant videos, all my videos that I've taken down, I've had to taken down from YouTube, and my videos before they're released on YouTube, www.patreon.com/bandclaptv. And until next time, peace.